Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out and special thanks to the channel members. This video is sponsored by myself. I just opened up a Patreon for those of you that want individual chapters for manhwas, or shorter daily uploads that aren't enough for full-length parts on the channel. Tomorrow will be the start of the daily uploads on there, and the first post will be the latest chapter of Archmage's curriculum. Link will be in the description, and pinned comment. Sorry for the interruption. The series starts with a man walking home, and we see two dudes hanging out, one of them spits, and the other dude flames him for getting that shit on his foot. They decide that they should run a hustle on him. The man explains that the studio complex is loud and dirty every day, and the small 180 square foot rooftop is his home. He opens his bag, revealing that he got a thing of ramen again for dinner, but also we learn that his name is Bong Joo-hyuk. He is 25 years old, he has no full-time job, but works 3 part-time jobs. There's a simple reason why working this hard doesn't save him any money, and that's of course debt. He has to pay it back even if it means living in poverty. He doesn't have any special skills, just a healthy body, no future, and nothing but a mediocre beta male life. His words. Then a status window appears in front of him as he's slurping that ramen down, saying that he has awakened. He was surprised, and his ramen was also way too hot, causing him to scream. He wonders if he really awakened. He explains that people call it a blessing, and if you do well, you hit the jackpot, completely turning your life around, perhaps a greater fortune than even winning the lottery, but still you can only enjoy it if you stay alive, and entering the tower is very dangerous. You could be torn to shreds by monsters, or freeze, or burn to death in extreme environments, or die from poison, and so on and so on. It's just full of some real dangerous shit. He usually avoids injustice if possible, and avoids creating dangerous situations as much as he can. He's a low-tier man and a mere commoner, and this is how he's lived his entire life. But for him to finally get an awakening is crazy. Then he wonders if it's even real, as it could also just be him being sleep-deprived and delusional. He then stretches his hand out, saying status window, but it actually opens, meaning that it's real. His trait skills are designated summon, random summon, and normal summon. He wonders what summon even means. He says summon is a decent trait, and he explains that all awakeners are granted an ability known as a trait. The types vary from swordsmanship to spearsmanship, and so on. Even things like gigantification are common. Among these, summon is known to allow the use of beings like spirits, phantom beasts, golems, and so on, but he wonders what kind of summoner he is. He says that since he's awakened, he should try using his skill at least, and he hits one of those typical anime poses. He gets embarrassed and stops halfway through, then just says the skill name normally. Of course, nothing happens. Then he forgets that he actually can't use them outside. Player abilities, including skills, are only valid inside the tower and cannot be activated outside. Except for the ability to check the status window, a player outside the tower is no different from a normal human. He then says that this is common sense, and if you check the internet, it's all over the place. He already knew this, but he was just low-key too excited that he forgot. The status window tells him that it's initiating his summon. He's genuinely surprised as a purple figure starts to spawn in by his door, and a man appears. He wonders why it's actually working and starts sweating nervously, and what appears isn't like a normal summon, it's a human. The dude greets him. He says not only is it working outside the tower, but the summon has exceeded all expectations, it's a literal human. The guy then starts smelling the air, saying that's ramen, asking if he can have a bite. Joo-hyuk says sure, and he says he must have summoned a one-bite bandit. The dude takes his first bite, and continues slurping it all up, but he says this shit's low-key spicy. Joo-hyuk says that it's just mild, and he must be one of those people who think flour is a spice. But this is also confusing, because how did his skill activate outside the tower? He wants to know how it activated, but also he's never heard of a human summon before. He opens his status window once more, and we see that he can summon humans and demi-humans. The ranges are anywhere from R to SR to SSR to LSSR. He says that it's just like pulling characters in a gacha game, and it explains that the summons all follow 3 principles. 1. It must prioritize and protect the summoner's life. 2. The summon must absolutely obey the summoner's commands. 3. Should Principle 1 and 2 conflict, Principle 1 is the highest priority. Joo-hyuk says absolute obedience sounds pretty good, but he wonders what the identity of the dude he summoned is. He opens his character sheet, seeing that he is called the Mad Assassin of the Cruel Guild. His name is John Corsack. He's a super rare, meaning SR. He's an assassin. He has a 6-hour manifestation period, and a satisfaction rating, and he has a 3-hour cooldown on his summon. He was once the black sheep of the cruel assassin guild, a truly mad assassin. However, his mission success rate is 99%. He even succeeded in assassinating a 5th circle black mage, but he met his end. Ju Hyuk starts to get a severe headache, saying that the information is flowing into his brain, and it's not just that, as his eyes start to turn blue. We see him getting sucked into another dimension, and what he sees when he floats down is none other than John charging straight at him, but John goes through him and continues. Ju Hyuk turns back, realizing that this is actually John's past, as we see him instantly killing 3 dudes by cutting all of their heads off. Ju Hyuk says that he's extremely skilled, but also he's a bit deranged, because he's wrapping up their heads in bow ties, and this must be why they called him mad. Then wonders if he thinks it's a gift. We see John turning back, smiling, and we learn that his end was caused by a single failure. The target of the assassination was laying in its bed. When he approached to finish the job, he realized that he had been caught in a trap, as what he was fighting was the Empire's strongest swordsmaster. John got cleaved in two with a single strike, unable to even dodge. This was his last memory. He then appears right behind Ju Hyuk, whispering sweet nothings into his ear, asking what he's thinking so hard about. He freaks him out, and he slides across the room, hitting his monitor and computer. John apologizes, saying that he just wanted to ask if there was anything he needed him to do. Ju Hyuk tells himself not to be scared. The summon is supposed to be under absolute obedience. He takes a deep breath, telling him to put away the ramen pot and wipe the table. He does so very quickly without complaining. He's surprised that it's so easy, saying that he really does follow everything he says. He then calls out to John, who tells him to speak his command. He says that he guesses something ridiculous wouldn't be okay. John tells him complete obedience is mandatory. Ju Hyuk then tells him to bark for him like a dog. John slowly raises his arm, and Ju Hyuk gets scared, wondering if he crossed the line. He says that he was a powerful figure with strong pride, so what if he snaps and attacks? But of course, John starts going in circles, barking over and over and over. Ju Hyuk realizes that this dude is absolutely cooked. There are then knocks on the door, and some dudes yell, telling him to open the shit now. Ju Hyuk says he forgot today was the interest payment due date. He tells John to stand up, and we learn that he borrowed 10 million won, which is around $7,000. He says banks wouldn't lend him anything, so he had to rush to a private loan. It was for his father's hip fracture surgery after he slipped, to cover his younger sibling's university tuition. He had no choice. He thought he'd pay it off quickly, but the principal is the same, and he's already paid over 5 million in interest. He knew it was stupid, but what else could he do? He had no choice, and even if he went back, he'd do the same thing. The men tell him to open the door, and he needs to make sure he's alive. Ju Hyuk then turns, calling out to John, who pulls out his daggers, saying that he might be a big problem. He tells him to hide in the bathroom and not move at all, to keep his mouth shut as well. John asks if he can breathe, and Ju Hyuk says of course. John says that's a relief, but when he opens the door, the guy grabs the back of Ju Hyuk's head, saying that he's fine. He was worried he might be sick since the interest payment didn't come in. Ju Hyuk apologizes, saying that he just sent the transfer. The dude says that if he's having trouble, not to overdo it, if things get tight, he can just sell an organ, saying that he would surely still be comfortable with a single kidney. His men then say that he has a younger sibling. The boss says that's good, because the younger they are, the better. Ju Hyuk looks up at him full of disgust, and the dude asks if he has a problem, as he looks like he's about to hit him. Ju Hyuk laughs it off, saying that there's no way he would do that. The dude then slams the door, telling him to be careful, unless he wants to die without a trace. Ju Hyuk sighs, then John exits the bathroom. Ju Hyuk says that he actually hid very quietly. John says he gave him the order too. Ju Hyuk says he feels exhausted. After 2 part-time jobs, an awakening, a human summon, and a visit from the debt collectors, he wonders if he truly is to climb the tower. While money is great, there's no way a chicken like him could do it. John asks what he should do now, and Ju Hyuk says he doesn't know, asking what he wants to do. If he wants, he can dismiss his summon. John says he'd low-key like to watch some TV. Ju Hyuk says he doesn't know how he knows about TV or ramen, but there's no reason to say no, telling him to go for it. John says he's going to watch a few episodes of drama, and while Ju Hyuk lays down to go to bed, John starts binge-watching it. Ju Hyuk says even though he's a summoned entity, it's not bad having someone next to him. Low-key it's kind of comforting. and until now he's been working himself to death all alone. Joo Hyuk slowly starts to fall asleep, until he wakes up to his alarm clock. He looks over, seeing John isn't there, asking if he was dismissed. He then says that the manifestation period was meant to be 6 hours. He says that he saw the system window while half asleep, but awakening or not, he needs to get ready for work. The news then comes in with a breaking report. Early this morning, at the office of the illegal private loan agency Smile Cash, there was a grotesque murder. Joo Hyuk says to wait a minute, and the news reporter says that all 3 victims were found decapitated, and the most shocking fact is that the victims' heads were decorated with ribbons. Joo Hyuk drops his toothbrush, realizing that it was John, because from the memories he saw, that's how John would kill all of his victims. He then starts to realize that he shouldn't have been complacent, as he just summoned a psycho killer. We see him looking at the news, and they're actually fully showing the crime scene. The boss had his finger bent backwards and broken, and 3 of the dudes had their heads cut off with ribbons tied on top. Joo Hyuk says he's so fucked. After seeing it fully, he's sure it's definitely John. Turns out he's on his phone at a convenience store. Someone calls out for him, and when he turns, he sees the boss's head wrapped in a ribbon telling him to ring it up. He starts to freak out as he sees all the heads now behind the boss with the words Valentine's Day written above them. He screams, running backwards into the rack of cigarettes, and the woman asks if he's okay. He apologizes, saying he'll ring her up right away. Realizing he can't even work in this state, he decides to take a break from all his part-time jobs, and those people who died must have been because of him. That night back at his house, he reads John's stats again, saying that he really is a mad assassin, but says that John can't harm him, since he is his summoner, but he's a little scared. He then summons John, but a status window appears, saying that before summoning him he needs to leave a satisfaction rating for him and to use his finger to assign the star rating. Joo Hyuk says this is actually pretty cool, but he told him to just watch TV. He goes out and commits unsolicited murder, so he's going to give him 1 star for being impudent. It's what he wants to give at least, but he can't be heartless, so he gives him 3 stars. He says that his mother works as a rental water purifier coordinator, so he knows exactly how painful a low satisfaction rating can be. Even if there are complaints, he can't give him 1 star. Then he summons John once more, who says it's a pleasure to see him again. He thanks him for the 3 stars, saying that he's going to work harder. Joo Hyuk says he's so innocent looking, asking if he really kills people. He then says he has a question. John tells him to speak freely, and he asks if he killed those people who came to his place yesterday. He says that's correct. He took care of them all last night before he was reverse summoned. Joo Hyuk freaks out, saying he really was the killer, meaning the person in front of him right now is a murderer, and his stomach begins to churn as his heart races. He tells himself to calm down, because John can't hurt him. He asks him how he did it, as he shouldn't have known the office location. John explains that when they stormed into the house, he actually put a mark of tracking on them. Joo Hyuk asks if that's some kind of skill, but wonders why he went so far. Joo Hyuk says it's because they were a threat, so it's best to eliminate them in advance. Joo Hyuk says he didn't command him to. John says that it's because of the principles of Article 3 of the summoned. Simply put, absolute obedience. However, it can be overwritten if the summoner is in danger, which is what it means. Joo Hyuk asks if that means, for example, if he commands him to kill him, he would disobey. John says that's correct. Then Joo Hyuk says that there was no actual threat, that was an independent judgment. John says Article 3 can be broadly interpreted. In his view, those men were a risk factor that would inevitably threaten the summoner's life someday, and that was a very reasonable judgment. Joo Hyuk tells him that's just psycho behavior, but apologizes, saying that he's sorry. John says he's heard it many times, but Joo Hyuk says he doesn't understand, and this could be really dangerous. He says let's assume that he's walking down a crowded street with John, and he bumps shoulders with some gangster-looking guy, and the person who got shoulder checked would probably ask if he wants to die. Usually they don't try to hurt people, it's just a threat, but according to John's interpretation, he'd cut his head off and tie a little bow on top. He begins to bite his nails nervously, and John tells him that he's sorry, and begins to kneel. Joo Hyuk asks what he's doing all of a sudden, saying that murder is not something he should do for his sake, it could put him in a difficult situation. John tells him that nobody will know, but Joo Hyuk asks if he'll do it again. John says he can't guarantee he won't, and Joo Hyuk says that he should promise him if there was a knife to his throat, then maybe, but killing someone based purely on conjecture is too much. John yells, saying that he will judge the situation better, and salutes him. Joo Hyuk says he sure is responsive, telling him he can go back now. John though is curious, saying he has a question. He'll ask what it is, so John asks if he's going to climb the tower or not. Joo Hyuk says it's true that climbing the tower is the chance of a lifetime, but he's scared, as it's too dangerous, and he could die. He then asks if there were other summoners that summoned John just like him. John says there were. There were truly strong and brave people, as we see him looking a bit bitter. Joo Hyuk says that he's embarrassed, as some people use their awakened abilities to save the world, yet he doesn't even have the courage to risk his life. He goes to tell Joo Hyuk what kind of summoner he is, but Joo Hyuk cuts him off, saying that he knows he's a pathetic coward, but John says that he's the best summoner. He asks him what the grid's virtue of who a summoner is, saying it's safety first. Being brave is poison, as brave summoners are dangerous. Who knows when they might die, and if they do, he wouldn't be able to come back out. Joo Hyuk asks if that's really how it works, but John tells him not to worry. He'll handle all the dirty work, so he should take care of himself and live a long life. That night, Joo Hyuk couldn't sleep, because he was agonizing over whether or not to climb the tower. He should just be thankful that the debt collectors and the debt are gone, so he can live his life now. He'll just keep doing safe and ordinary work, and if he keeps living diligently, everything will be better eventually. His phone then starts to ring. It's his dad. He answers it, then asks his dad if he's keeping up with his rehab. His dad mentions he has to move to a bigger hospital. Also, he tells him that his mother got fired. His dad says not to worry too much though, he just called him because they haven't been in touch, but it'll be okay. Joo Hyuk says he'll come visit when he has time, and they can eat together, then hangs up the phone after telling him bye. He quickly heads back, giving himself makeshift armor with his construction worker uniform and a bat. He says that if he just takes a quick peek on the first floor and comes back out, it'll be fine. It's a good thing that he took the day off from all his part-time jobs too. He says that first he needs to summon John, but he doesn't necessarily have to stick with him. He wonders if he should try summoning something else, saying that he might even pull a legendary special super rare, but it tells him random summon is impossible, as he has a 28-day cooldown. He says that he didn't know that existed, and in the end, he summons John. Turns out he gave him a 5-star rating. Joo Hyuk says surely he doesn't know he tried to summon someone else, saying that he's decided to go to the tower. John asks if that means he's being brave, but says that he definitely knows that's not the case. Joo Hyuk tells him he just plans to have a little taste and then bail. John tells him that's wise, but also tells him to get rid of all that weird shit he's wearing. John tells him that he's going to be his tool and hunting dog. He will drive him comfortably and safely, and once they enter the tower, he shouldn't have to lift a single finger, as he's on the John Corsack bus. The status window asks if he would like to enter the Black Tower of Korea, and the only floor accessible currently for him is the first one. Joo Hyuk asks if he's ready to go, and John says yes, and he presses the button as they start to get sucked into the tower. Joo Hyuk has second thoughts, and begins screaming. As they continue to get sucked into the tower, Joo Hyuk still completely panicked and screams while John holds onto him. When he snaps out of his panic, he comes to the mouth of a cave inside of the tower. He says that the first floor is a complete wasteland. He then starts to feel nauseous and vomits. John says that he'll get used to it quickly, asking if he's okay. He then says that it's time to move beyond the safe zone. A status window appears, saying that his physical abilities have been enhanced to match his level. The use of traits and combat skills is now possible. He feels stronger. The first floor mission is to defeat 5 fat grubs, and he has 2 hours to complete it. John says there they are, and Joo Hyuk explains that the first floor is a stage to test your skills. Fat grubs are said to be a kind of training dummy concept. Its attack power is almost non-existent, but there are people saying that its skin is tough, making it hard to kill easily. Other players say they manage to kill maybe one every 30 minutes at best, but now he's a player too. He tells John that he'll try taking down one first. John asks if there's any need for him to do that. Joo Hyuk walks up to the first job of the slug, saying that he needs to borrow one of the weapons that John has for a moment. While he's distracted, the slug slowly starts to become erect, looking straight down at him. Joo Hyuk realizes he made a mistake. As he panics, he tells John to help him. John says that was actually the best choice he's made so far, and instantly closes the gap and hits it so hard that it prematurely erupts at the top. He tells Joo Hyuk to stand back for a moment, as he starts sending them flying through the air left and right. Now that they're ready, he pulls out throwing knives and yeets them toward the slugs, impaling all 5 of them with their own dagger. But he doesn't stop there, as he uses an ability called Blade Explosion, causing them to burst in the air. Cool guys don't look at explosions type shit. Ju Hyuk says that was tough twin, and for him to take them down in an instant, he would expect no less from John. The status window appears. He has succeeded in the first floor mission, and his level has increased, and he got 100 grams of magic stones. He has also achieved an S++ conquest rating for the first floor of the tower, and a platinum badge. Ju Hyuk says this is way too easy, and he might become rich soon. He didn't know just how impactful this would be, as players all over the world were getting their status windows flashed in front of them. Each and every single one of them were in the middle of their daily lives, as it appeared for every player in South Korea. Ju Hyuk gets taken back to his house, and the status window says he can now challenge the second floor. He says that he didn't know that when he cleared a floor, it would instantly take him back home. He says that it only took him about 3 minutes, and that was quick, but he also feels nauseous. John tells him that he worked hard, and Ju Hyuk says he literally did nothing. John says that was well done, though. Ju Hyuk says he heard others were completely exhausted by the time they finished killing them, but that was way too simple. He looks down at his rewards, and he says that this is his first time seeing a magic stone in person. It's a crucial resource and indispensable to modern industry. Its price has dropped a lot since the early days, and it's around 50,000 won per 100 grams. As 20 years have passed since the towers appeared, most general knowledge about the tower is known even by ordinary people, but the platinum badge is not something he's ever heard of. But he's earned 50,000 won in 3 minutes, which is pretty cool. John says he wants to binge some drama, but Ju Hyuk says that he has a better idea. He goes to grab some fancy convenience store food, and John instantly gets a whiff. He asks if this is what he thinks it is, and if this is spicy pork trotters. Ju Hyuk says that it's just regular ones, because he knows he can't handle spicy food. John says that he can smell the spice, though. Ju Hyuk says that when it comes to spice, this dude is a serious wimp. While thanking him for his kindness, Ju Hyuk says he has a question, though, and John tells him to shoot. Ju Hyuk asks if this is his natural way of speaking, and John says that's the way he ends words with something called Simba Ida, no idea what it means. Neither does Ju Hyuk, as he asks what he means, and he says that's from being around his previous summoner for a long time. Ju Hyuk says that's like that thing where a girl has an ex-boyfriend influence. John says that if it's uncomfortable to hear, he'll fix it, but Ju Hyuk says the more he hears it, the more fun it is. They start laughing about it, and Ju Hyuk says that he's more convinced now than ever that John isn't dangerous at all, but neither is the tower. On the contrary, it's very doable. The next morning, he plans out his daily routine. Convenience store during the day, the restaurant job at night, but in the meantime, he'll quit the labor job. Instead, he can come home and conquer the tower with John. He gave John another 5 stars, saying that he doesn't know where to put himself now. Ju Hyuk says he would give him 10 if he could, and John's just glad he's satisfied. He asks if the satisfaction rating is that important. John explains that the better the rating, the more benefits you get. For example, manifestation time, rank promotion, and increased chances of being called or given. They head into the second floor of the tower, and its mission is to defeat 10 grubs this time, but these are much faster. Ju Hyuk says that this floor is more troublesome, as they move all over the place. He doesn't know what to do on the second floor, though, but John tells him not to worry, as there won't be time for that. He'll finish this in 3 minutes, and he'll quickly escort him home. Ju Hyuk asks if he wants some chicken and beer today, and John says of course. As he once more uses his blade explosion, he completes the second floor very quickly, just like he said he would. He got 200 grams of magic stones, but also achieved S++ rank again, and another platinum badge. He wonders if it's really meant to be this easy. Even for being fast, it's too fast. He could go in and out and finish before his part-time morning job. They then go to the third floor, and it's more grubs. Of course, he deletes them in an instant, this time gaining another 300 grams of magic stones and the platinum badge once more. This continues over and over until he's completed 5 floors now. Due to him getting 5 platinum badges, he is granted a special privilege for accumulating them. Ju Hyuk wonders what it is, and it gives him the awakened trait enhancement. So now the number of simultaneous summons has increased to 2. He says 2 summons sounds crazy, as just 1 alone is sweeping through everything. He says that the S++ clear reward is good, but there might be something past it, but it would turn into him just breezing through the finish line without ever having to do anything. But he still has more than 20 days left on the cooldown for a random summon. He says after 20 days, the 3 of them will go together, but more like he'll enjoy the easy life while the 2 of them will keep breaking through the tower. But tomorrow, He's gonna head back in with John and keep it up. It takes us to the Korean Awakened Management Society, as inside we see them all waiting anxiously. A man asks if it's gonna ring in the morning, or even later at night. A woman asks if he's talking about the announcement. He's surprised, saying that he told her to fix that habit of jump scaring him. His name is Joan Gwang-il, and the woman's name is Lee Mina. She says she can't help but be curious. Gwang-il asks if the new announcement did come up. She says that it's another S++ rank clear for the 6th floor. He says that the Black Tower's global announcements have been ringing one after another. The content is none other than news of the crazy rank clear. It's definitely one person, and since it's through so fast, it's someone with unprecedented talent. And if floors 7, 8, 9, and 10 are still S++ rank, then this is somebody that nobody in this world could stop. Crazy how they're completely misunderstanding this. A man then slams his desk, saying that they both know. But until now, Korea's best record was A rank. His name is Park Kyung-soo, and he is the director of the agency. He says the fact that there's a grade above that, and that it was revealed to all the players, means that if the international community tries to approach him, they could even try abducting him, and they would end up losing their player to another country. They should find this player immediately, and keep a close watch on all the newly registered players so they could try to spot him. A few days later, Joo Hyuk asks John if they're going to go to the 8th floor today. John says yes, as we see him doing house chores. Joo Hyuk says clearing one floor a day without any strain is nice, but up to the 10th floor is also the stage where you shed the beginner label and everything, as it will get a little harder, but for now it's smooth. As we see them walking through a forest in the 8th floor, the goal this time is to defeat 10 red thorn frog warriors. One of them leaps forward, sticking its tongue out toward John, but of course he coats his blade in aura and cleaves through it and the remaining 9 frog warriors, allowing him to clear the floor. As well, Joo Hyuk got 800 grams of a magic stone and a tower exclusive healing potion, as well as another S++ rank and a platinum badge. John once more tells him good work, and Joo Hyuk says that he doesn't have to say that every time, as he doesn't do anything. John tells him entering the tower is the hardest part. Joo Hyuk says thanks to him, they always go up easily, and John tells him not to let his guard down. From the later half of the 10th floor onwards, it's not going to be easy. Joo Hyuk says that with another 3-minute clear today, he should give John a present for his hard work. He says there's plenty of real-world time left, so he should go out and have some fun, eat something delicious, but not to cause any trouble. John says he refuses. Joo Hyuk asks why, and John says he can't leave his side, so he'll just watch TV at home. Joo Hyuk then asks if he wants to order some chicken, and John says that sounds like gas. He then instantly starts calling a place, saying that he'll order something tasty. Bro literally turned into a chicken. Joo Hyuk says he's going to take a look at the rewards. What he got was the healing potion. He says that he can give this to John, but he doesn't know what to do with the magic stones. He has so many in his inventory, and selling them would net him around 2 million won. He should start thinking about cashing them out soon. It's now day 10 of climbing. Soon, they'll be able to challenge the 10th floor. Joo Hyuk says at first, he thought he'd just sample the tower, but he's been climbing 1 floor a day. Yesterday, the 9th floor was just as easy. Clearing the stage is a given, but getting the double S++ clear reward is a pretty nice bonus too. But this sure is reassuring, and that John is his absolute GOAT. He already forgot that he killed 3 people, but it doesn't matter. He goes to summon him again. Due to all the high ratings he's given him, John can stay here for an extra hour. Joo Hyuk says this was totally worth it, and John appears, making a heart symbol using his arms over his head. He says thank you to him, and Joo Hyuk says he looks forward to continuing their work. They enter the 10th floor now, and Joo Hyuk's physical abilities have been enhanced to match his level. Traits and combat skills can be used too. Joo Hyuk says that he can really feel it, and that the recalibration of physical abilities inside the tower is making him overflow with strength and mana. As he can feel it in his lower abdomen, and he says he feels like he's become an untamable wild horse. Bro literally turns into a horse, telling John that he's going to help from now on. John says that he mustn't. If even a single scratch appears on his body, he'll have to smash his own head into the ground. Joo Hyuk tells him not to worry, as he's already a wild horse. John says that his encouragement and praise are enough, but Joo Hyuk says that they have to do it together. The ground starts shaking, and when he looks over, he spots a giant eye staring at him. It's none other than a praying mantis, and Joo Hyuk starts to freak out. He asks how the hell players even caught something like this to begin with, and he says that sending 2 people to catch an insect does feel a bit damaging to his pride. John says that there's nothing damaging to his pride, but Joo-hyuk says he's talking about his. The mantis starts to chatter its weird little mandibles. Joo-hyuk starts cheering on John. It attacks straight towards him, but John avoids it, running up its arm, and as he gets close to the neck, he cuts off both of its arms, as well as cutting it into pieces too. He has now cleared the stage, and he got a whole 1 kilogram of magic stones and another platinum badge. John flips his sword in the air, catching it, saying that that's another mission complete, and he can now challenge the 11th floor. Joo-hyuk says that this is yet again even crazier rewards. On top of that, he received a special privilege at 5 platinum badges before, so he thinks it will happen every 5. Of course, it happens on cue, and he says that this settles it. He wonders what it will be, and it allows him to copy one skill possessed by a summon, and it starts listing out all of the skills that John possesses. Joo-hyuk is surprised, and John tells him without a question, he needs to pick Shadow Step. Joo-hyuk asks what he means. John says he knows the skill copy popped up, and not to ask or think, just to learn Shadow Step. Joo-hyuk asks why, and John says it's convenient when running away. Even if something happens to him, he can be discreet and fast. Joo-hyuk wonders who he takes him for, and if he looks like someone who would run off just to save himself. Of course he is, because he learns the skill. He says that even in combat, though, quick footwork is very truly important. This is copium. He wonders if it works in real life, as he goes outside and starts to use the skill. But he just looks goofy. He says that if they let him summon in the real world, they should let him use the skills too, and there's no consistency. John says he has no idea what he's talking about, but agrees with him anyways. It's now day 11 of climbing the tower, and he calls the Awakened Management call center. He tells them that he's newly awakened, so he wanted to call, and they say that he must be confused, asking if he needs government assistance to his house. He says yes, and he gives them his address. He just wanted to sell the magic stones, but that was the bravest decision he's made in his entire life. Meanwhile, we see Mina entering a car, and Gwang-il asks if the person she checked out yesterday was the guy. She says that she doesn't think so, and he just wonders if he'll ever show up. She tells him that they got another call today, and that he should go with her. He says for now, they have to run around as much as their legs allow, and then if it is that person, they have to bring him to the elite team, even if they have to pore over the best benefits the agency can offer. Joo-hyuk, knowing that they're on their way, starts cleaning his house the best he can. On cue, they knock on the door, saying that they're from the management agency, and he realizes they're here. He opens the door, greeting them, saying that the place is a bit small but welcomes the man. Gwang-il introduces himself, and he then introduces Mina. Joo-hyuk says that the woman low-key makes him more nervous, because he's scared of them, and she gets right up into his face, saying that it has to be him, the S++ rank. Joo-hyuk is surprised. He just gets flustered that she gets so close, but also wonders if they have some kind of way of identifying awakened players that he doesn't know about. He says that he needs to deny everything and act naturally. Bro turns into a robot, saying that he's heard of that, but that is not him. She wonders what's with that look, saying it's a classic lying face. Gwang-il swings out her head, saying that he told her not to fish for answers. She dodges, saying understood, and he apologizes for disrespecting him. Joo-hyuk says it's fine, and is more surprised that they were just testing him. We learn more about the tower from Tabby, the mascot of Korea's tower system. He says that its height dwarfs the tallest building on Earth. 20 years ago, it appeared overnight all over the world. Each nation sent scientists and soldiers to investigate, but no one could approach it, as if blocked by an invisible wall. If you're wondering what the tower is, that question was answered when the players appeared. It functions like a game of floors to clear one by one. Outside the tower, players are ordinary people, but inside they wield immense power and skills, and rewards earn their upgrade their gear, and even boost the world's economy. What if no one keeps climbing? What happens is the status window will appear, saying that there's slow progress, and it starts to initiate a countdown. If no new floor is conquered within 6 months, the countdown starts, and the tower will collapse. That's how Mumbai vanished. For their country, they get pretty lucky. Normally, each nation has 1 to 3 towers, but luckily Korea only got 1. They estimate around 5 to 10,000 players nationwide, which is roughly 0.01% of the population. It's not a huge number, but their progress is steady, as they're just behind the United States, who is at 66. So not to worry, they have modern-day heroes standing in for them. Just as mankind once explored new continents, they now explore the towers. And for all newly awakened individuals, They should register now and become a hero. Gwang Il closes the laptop, saying with that, that's the orientation finished. Ju Hyuk says that was low-key kind of cringe. Gwang Il says he'll continue with a few verification questions. He asks if he's truly awakened. Ju Hyuk says yes, and even did some clearing, showing the mana crystals. Gwang Il asks what floor he reached, and Ju Hyuk says 10th. They both realize that's the same record as the guy they're looking for, and they wonder if he's the one. She then asks if he's heard about the global announcement. He decides to act naturally, saying that he did hear about it, and whoever that is was incredible. But of course he says it's super robotic. Gwang Il says there's no need to be nervous, and his teeth start chattering. Gwang Il says this is suspicious, but regardless, they'll explain the contract details. They divide players into two groups. First, the elite team, and second, the general raid team. General players set their own schedules and climb freely like freelancers. Elites, however, work closely with the bureau and tackle higher floors, but receive funding, equipment, and security support. Because outside the tower, players are just people too. And he goes to talk about the salary, but Ju Hyuk's saying that if they find out that he's the S++ guy, he's absolutely doomed, as he's gonna get bombarded with reporters. He hates being the center of attention. Gwang Il goes to continue talking about the elite team and how they get to wear body cams to record their footage, but Ju Hyuk cuts him off, saying that he'll stick to the general team. Gwang Il is surprised and goes to explain it, but Ju Hyuk says the general team is fine for him. He's not interested in that kind of fame, and it's pretty scary, so he'll just stop on a safe floor and take his share of rewards, which is enough. Gwang Il tells him to think it over, but Ju Hyuk says he's made his decision. Mina decides that this isn't the S++ guy, saying that this is another false lead. Plenty of players prefer to farm mid-floors for easy loot, but none say it's so openly pathetic. And a coward like this doesn't deserve elite status. Determination is the biggest requirement. Gwang Il says that they'll respect his decision, but if he doesn't mind, they need him to enter the tower so they can confirm it. As he needs to do a quick run, and he agrees. He says they must be wanting to test if he's the S++ rank player. And he says that he'll do a run when he's inside, but it might take a while, at least 2 hours. They tell him to take his time and not to feel pressured, as they'll wait. And he stands up, telling them that they should treat themselves at home, telling them where the food and the TV remote is, and then leaves. As he does vanish, Gwang Il says he really is awakened, asking her what she thinks. She says it's hard to say about talent, but he seems timid, and he'll most likely quit on the 11th floor. He asks why she thinks that, and she says that she's been there herself. It tests your fear, and he asks if she means the Centipede Tunnel 1. She says yes, and while it's not hard, it's creepy as hell. You have to kill 100 of those bugs, and someone like him is gonna panic and drop a log in his pants, so he'll withdraw to a safe zone and forfeit. He says she's been accurate so far, but he'll call the director and tell him it's another dead end. Ju Hyuk then summons John, and John thanks him for the summon like usual. Of course, we already know what the 11th floor is, because they just told us. He has a time limit of 3 hours, and Ju Hyuk starts freaking out, saying he hates centipedes. John says that he'll finish it in 5 minutes, but Ju Hyuk says no, it needs to be slow and steady, no S++ rank time, as they're gonna be playing it safe today. He's trying to prove to them that he's not the guy. John says he understands, and Ju Hyuk says this is perfect. Now he can have a nice and sloppy run, and with a messed up record, he'll have escaped the S++ Raiders encirclement. John kills a monster, and he says this might still be too fast, telling him to go slower. He then slows it down a bit, and Ju Hyuk says this is perfect, but then he starts to get flung into the air by a centipede. He starts to panic, and says he has to run, as they start to attack him. John notices this, and says that he'll handle it as he flies in. He starts cutting them all apart, but gets pissed, so goes way overboard, deleting all of them nearby. Ju Hyuk realizes he made a mistake, telling him to wait, as this is too fast. He tells him that he needs to slow down, and it's an order, but John says he can't do that, his safety comes first. Ju Hyuk says that if he goes this hard in the paint, it's gonna happen. He of course gets a platinum badge, and says that he fucked up. John apologizes, and Ju Hyuk is just annoyed. He exits, and Mina says that now that it's been 5 minutes, he's gonna return any moment now. The status window appears, talking about the floor being cleared, and Ju Hyuk appears right on time. They both realize that she made a mistake, and the exact second he reappeared is when the clear happened. He says he really didn't want to resort to this, but he's afraid that he's gonna have to silence the two of them right now, as John appears behind him. He sends John forward and he cuts off both of their heads. He then starts freaking out because he puts ribbons on them. He says that he didn't say anything about cutting their heads off. He starts apologizing over and over, and then he snaps out of his daydream. They call out to him, asking if he's okay because he's breaking out in a cold sweat. He realizes it was all a dream, and he clears his throat, saying he's fine. Wang Il then says that their elite team absolutely needs a talent like him. He says there must be a misunderstanding. It probably is overlapped with another player's clear time, and something like that couldn't happen to him. Wang Il says the timing was too perfect, but Ju Hyuk says it was a coincidence, and it's definitely not him. Wang Il asks if he's serious, and Ju Hyuk says he is. He says he sees, and since they confirmed his awakening, they'll prepare the contract. Ju Hyuk laughs, saying he's glad they believe him. Then when he hands him the contract, it's the elite one. He says he asked for the general contract, but Wang Il says that this is not a different dimension from the usual cases. So to speak, it's the only contract of its kind in the industry. It is the ultra-elite contract. Full salary of 12 billion won, plus real estate provided, and double VIP protocol, and thorough security detail. On top of that, immunity privileges. Ju Hyuk says at this point he's way above the law, and it's practically royalty. Wang Il says that these are benefits only currently enjoyed by Korea's rank 1 player, Yu Chul Min. He tells him to take a look, as it includes every benefit the nation can offer. Ju Hyuk says no. If it's not a general contract, he won't be a player. They wonder why he's rejecting it so hard. He says that he hates getting attention, as it's burdensome, and being burdened causes stress, and his heart would have such a hard time. And they realize that he's just a complete introvert. He says climbing the tower is fun now, but it's only the 11th floor. The future is unclear. He's not sure about it himself. Wang Il says it's better to back off now, and they'll proceed with the general contract. He also says if someone else saw this, they'd be frustrated, asking why he doesn't just take the contract, get the benefits, and climb. But the elite contract comes with responsibilities equal to what you receive. Even if he wants to stop clearing the upper floors, he can't because it's a team created solely for climbing them. He doesn't want that kind of burden. He's satisfied if he can just live more comfortably than before. Back at the awakened office, Kyung-soo says that this is different from the report. And he said over the phone that he was a timid player of no will to climb. Wang Il tells him that's correct. Kyung-soo asks if that's really the person they're looking for. He says yes. Kyung-soo says he doesn't understand it. He tells him that he seems to be a person with a disposition, that bro is just allergic to people. Kyung-soo asks if there's a possibility they mistook him, but Mina says it's impossible. The timing fit way too perfectly. Kyung-soo says that if he's timid, he's still an unprecedented talent. They need to bring him into the elite team no matter what. Wang Il says understood, and he'll definitely join. Back to Ju Hyuk. He's screaming, saying absolutely not. He's pretending to be angry. He tells John that they got caught, and the next time he disobeys him he'll immediately unsummon him. John apologizes. They enter the 12th floor now, which is to defeat 20 icicle spear weasels. The time limit is 3 hours. Ju Hyuk says that he needs to do it really slow just like he ordered. John salutes him, saying loyalty above all. Ju Hyuk says that he thinks he can trust him this time. If they clear it normally from the 12th floor onward, the office might lose interest. But the shit is cold. He came prepared, but it's colder than he thought. John spots his complexion as he's shivering, asking if he's okay. Ju Hyuk says it's bearable, and John says that he'll finish this as quickly as possible and escort him to a warm room. Ju Hyuk screams, saying that he's fine, but John says that he needs to get this done fast. Or else he'll catch a cold, and a cold is an incurable disease, which means his life is in danger. Ju Hyuk says that absolute obedience is a fucking myth, and he gets another S++ rank for the clear. Wang Il calls him, asking if he just cleared the 12th floor. Ju Hyuk says he did, but the 13th might be too hard. John says that it's warm now, so surely he'll be at ease, and that he's gonna watch some TV. Ju Hyuk unsummons him crying, saying he doesn't deserve the privilege. The next day on the 13th floor he says it's full of nothing but traps, which would be too dangerous to be slow with. John says that he's gonna break through them all very quickly, as he princess carries Ju Hyuk to the end. Of course he gets a perfect clear for this too. On the 14th floor, he says the eyeball attack from these monsters is wide range, so he'll get caught in the AoE, so he'll handle it before they can even fight back. Again another perfect clear. Ju Hyuk says whatever happens happens. He sells all of his magic stones, getting almost 3 million won, and as well as the support fund just for being a general player, which was 2 million flat. He says that if he adds the new magic stones he's gotten, it'll have been over 7 million won in 14 days. If he goes to the 20th floor, he doesn't want to even imagine how much he'd earn. If he sells them through the office, he'll make at least 1 million a day, and without fees or taxes it's just a huge benefit. And he's gonna quit his part-time jobs now. The next day he summons John, as John is in the corporal punishment pose, saying that for him to still give him 5 stars despite him disobeying him, he's humbled. Ju Hyuk says that from now on he can just clear it however he wants, since he won't tell him to do it slowly. John asks if that's really okay. Ju Hyuk says the office already figured it out, and if he continues to get platinum badges he'll have acquired 15 after this mission. The probability of receiving another perk is high, and he's super greedy, since perks make him several times safer. He tells John it's time to go kick some more ass. They enter the 15th floor, which is to defeat 20 goblin workers. They're chopping away, and Ju Hyuk says that these are the first humanoids he's run into, and even if it's low, they still have intelligence. John says from this section on clearing becomes troublesome even with information. John says if one gets away, it'll bring others, and goblins are cunning bastards, so he should stay hidden very well. He'll eliminate them in one go then return. John uses his stealth skill, and Ju Hyuk wonders if he'll use that later. 2 of the workers get their heads cut off, and the other doesn't even notice. Ju Hyuk says at this rate there's going to be no worry of them even fighting back or alerting the others, as they never noticed he was there. He finishes the mission, getting a level up, more magic stones, and another healing potion, and another platinum token. They are both smiling as they get summoned back to his room. Ju Hyuk opens his inventory, saying with this is a total of 15 badges, and naturally this time as well he got another perk. He says at 5 badges he got trait enhancement, at 10 he got the skill copy, and he wonders what he's going to get now. But for now we're on the cuck chair. If you've watched till the end comment, peek, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.